Hey. Yeah, I don't know why I wanted to play that. Just figured I'd slide that one in there, even though it's our dueling dealer intro. There is no custom intro yet for this new CAF update, but welcome to the first Thursday in a long time for the CAF update. So I've got a long list of things I want to try to squeeze in, and it's a little haphazard trying to organize all these thoughts and things that I want to do differently with this show. So just roll with me. It might not seem perfect at first, but I'm sure once I flow through it and get through all the bumps in the road, we'll get this thing all ironed out. But Jeff Moy didn't see anything. Yep, I'm sorry, man. But good evening to everybody. I saw the chatting going on before I got in here, and I couldn't even hope to name everybody who was chatting because there were just so many of you. But I appreciate it. The hangout is here. I'm going to miss Fridays, but we'll see. Once the fall comes back, we might tweak things. I can already see that I'm going to have some scheduling problems trying to do all the things I want to do and keep this on a Thursday. It's always problematic, but I can see how things are going to start changing as conventions come back. I mean, with Torpedo coming up tomorrow, I'm just seeing people's schedules change, and it just makes for it's going to make for a different experience, I think, going forward as far as working out the schedule. So I think we're just going to flow with it a bit. But so like I said, I have got so many darn things I want to cover today, and it's probably best for me just initially to get out of the way the CAF update stuff from the week before, only because that's the simplest stuff for me to walk through, and then also it kind of gets us on to just all the other stuff that I want to make sure I cover every single week. And yeah, Wes, there will be the rant day is finally here. I didn't know everybody was waiting for that. I was going to probably save that for last, though. Maybe I think that's probably a better topic, and to put at the end. So why don't we just get rid of the CAF update stuffs and get on with some of the better things that we've got planned for you, including a debut of the video that was put together by Dan Poddick and our very own Dino Mauricio, who visited the Society of Illustrators and put together a video of the show. So if you're not able to make it, you're going to get to experience it here before he puts that video out on the CGC forums and announces it to everybody on YouTube. Yes, a Dave Butt from Dino. It's going to be great. I watched it earlier today, and we'll talk more about that too when we get in there. And I've got a short video clip of my interview with Scott Kress, which is going to go, it's going to be live tomorrow at 1:00. So that's coming out too, and a little preview of that. But let's just get the formalities out of the way. I think that's going to always be the best way to approach these. So CAF update period is for the 12th of July through the 18th. So this was a different week for dealers, whereas the previous period, they sold $418,000 worth of art. Of course, that was with Felix's super major FC show that he put together. So it went from 418 down to $191,000. I mean, I know that there was also that a few other dealers were on vacation, so who knows what plays into all of that. But at any rate, a very large drop, over $200,000 in sales that were diminished week over week. Romita Man was number one with just over $91,000. Anthony number two with $50,000 plus. Albert number two with $28,000, and then Art Droids, whom we never ever talk about, a UK seller, of course, had one sale for $7,500. So everybody else below that. So a very slow week for most of the dealers that I track. But lots of things going on this weekend, so I know that there will be plenty of sales reported for the following week. The top sales, though, let me get my little thing going here. Top sales for the week. First up is this piece is by Herb Trimpe, and this was a Incredible Hulk 393. It's a published piece and part of the 30th anniversary. It was sold by Romita Man for $17,000 as the asking price. Next up is a artwork sold by Albert Moy. This is from Warlock issue 11, page 2, and the artist is Jim Starlin. The asking price on this one was $13,000. And next up, Thor 159, page 9, sold by Romita Man, Jack Kirby, Vince Coletta, and the asking price on this one was $9,000. Next up is it's a magazine cover from 1954 by Tom Lovell, and this was sold by Romita Man as well. $7,800 was the asking price. And here's that 2000 AD Judge Dredd piece by Dave Gibbons, which was the $7,500 sale by Art Droids. And the asking price on that one was $7,500 again. And then finally, this Johnny Craig piece, we saw this on Dueling Dealers, did not sell. And as Mike usually does, he sold it on his site later on for $5,500 as the asking price. And, going back to a question I think that came about a month ago, and it was about why does Mike's sales or almost sales appear in the daily email when he adds it in your keyword email. And the reason I asked him, I'm like, why are you putting sold stuff in there like that and marking it live? And his answer was that he was actually putting them in there as on hold because our dealer sites are meant to track sales. So unless he already had the money, he then, because he really doesn't have that art on his site, it's his first time he's showing it at Dueling Dealers. So then he re-adds it. If he's already got the money, say by the morning, he marks it, puts it in as sold. It never goes on CAF. If it's on hold, our programming actually allows for an on-hold piece of artwork to be to stay in inventory until it gets marked sold. I kind of forgot about that. But so Mike is actually putting it into his site on hold, and it's getting pushed over into our CAF update. So it's really not. Now I get it. I mean, I wish it wasn't so wordy and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, that is why he was doing it. It's his clerical method of getting it in there, and then he'll mark it as sold when he gets the payment from the buyer. So that is why that was happening. But maybe I can ask him to trim those titles down so they're not so killer like he usually has them. So we'll see. I can only ask, and he can only follow through with it. But you never know with Mike. He sings his own tune and doesn't really always follow my suggestions. So next up are the auction results. Now the auction results kind of they're continuing to go up, and something we can talk a little bit more about after we show them. But the total auction sales for this period was $350,000, and that was up from $330,000 the prior week. Now, typically between eBay and Heritage, as everybody who's watching this for the longest time knows it's usually around 240 to 260 would be an average between the two. And the increase that we're seeing is the move to Wednesday. The Heritage is definitely piling it on and selling a lot more things on Wednesday than they did when they were cramming some comics and art and whatnot into their Monday set. So now that it's all art, all Wednesday, they're just selling more. And then this particular sale, they had 356 sales of original comic art, and that's, over what their normal average was on Mondays. That's about 100 more sales on a Wednesday than they normally would have had on a Monday. So I did check this week, and they've only got 260 to 280 pieces, so they're kind of going back down. But still, they're definitely being more aggressive on Wednesdays, and we know that their auction is carrying into Dueling Dealers now. As much as we knew it was going to, it still is. So at any rate, that's definitely kind of what's driving the increase in the auction sales. And plug it up. Yep. And just following through there. Yep, Ruben. See, that's the right way to do it. That is, but that's why it was happening. I thought Mike was in some weird way putting it out there as for sale, which is not what he was doing. But and yes, Ha is running a lot more pieces now. And that's, we talked with them. I talked with everybody at the top and about it, because I said I didn't want to switch Dueling Dealers because, it just made sense for me to keep it where it was at. So we're not sure what we're going to do. I don't think it's tremendously impacting us, but again, I don't want to be diverting everybody's attention. I should go back and steal their Monday, but I don't really want to do that. So we'll see. But I think it's something to talk about. We can look at what I've got a schedule I'm going to show you in a minute as well. But let's go ahead and look at all the top auction results, the 3 from eBay and the 3 from Heritage. And no surprise on these ones that you're going to see from eBay, of course, because they were all the Jim Lee sets that were out there. His final charity pieces, and it was a Jason Todd piece here from his Bink charity auctions. This one was $25,100. And just by the way, Jim Lee raised $642,000 for comic shops with these 100 auctions. So incredibly commendable. I don't care that it took him over a year to get them all done. Next up was this Future State Batman. This one sold for $8,101. And finally, this Blight Villain Batman Beyond sketch sold for $7,101. So hats off to Jim, and I'm sure he's going to have a few high fives when everybody sees him at Torpedo this weekend. So next up are the 3 Heritage results. This was another Sergeant Fury by Ayers and Tartaglione. This one sold for $7,800. Next up is this Mark Schultz fantasy illustration, not dated, and it sold for $6,600. And then finally from Heritage is a Kirby Royer Mr. Miracle number 17 page, which sold for $4,800. So yeah, definitely looking over, what Heritage had in that big set that they had last Wednesday. Just a lot more quality and a lot more volume than we're used to seeing. 47 pieces exceeding $1,000. I mean, that's about double what they would have normally done on a Monday. So, it's back to really what they told me. They've got a very high inventory of comics, which is why they needed to push that to Monday. They've got a bigger than we'd like to know, glut of art to auction as well. So that's why they really need a solid day to push things out on the Wednesdays. So I don't see it moving to Thursday anytime soon either. So what we need to do, just reading through the chats. All right, that's pretty high price for a Schultz pencil. I do agree, Jeff. I thought that myself. I mean, we featured it because early on it was already pretty high. So I'm not sure. I didn't read the description on that particular piece, but we had promoted it as a highlighted auction earlier, that a couple days before it closed, specifically because it was already at a high price. So there was somebody who was really after that, at least a couple people. So I have that. So let me talk about schedule. So I might as well just pull up the Dueling Dealers one just to show you what we had worked out, because now we're just trying to plan everything in advance. Now that cons are actually coming along, we wanted to make sure that we kind of had things figured out on what we were going to be doing with the upcoming stuff. So next Wednesday will be a regular show with the regular pricing, and we are debating modifying the pricing levels once again, just tweaking it a little bit. Not really going to say what way we're going to do it, but probably a little bit down with it, leaving the anything goes levels in there. We're going to do a 500 under show the following Monday on the 2nd of August. That's going to just be between Mike and Anthony, and a regular show on 8-4. We've got the big show on Monday the 9th between Albert and Mike. That one should be a doozy, right? I know that Mike's had his art already selected for about 2 weeks because he's heavily in training for that battle. We were going to do a 1,000 and under show that following Wednesday to not really compete against the Albert and Mike show. Then 2 consecutive regular shows on the 18th and the 25th. And then on Saturday the 28th, we will be, Mike and I are actually going to be going to New York, and we are going to do a live show at Anthony's Warehouse that Saturday at 1 p.m. And it'll be $1,000 and under show. So it'll be 12 rounds, 2 pieces per round. And we'll do it live. We haven't quite figured out how we're going to handle the format, but it'll be fun, be different, right? And we're not planning on having people live there, but who knows what'll happen. Anthony likes to have people show up at his warehouse, so we'll see. But the reason we're going to be out there is because Mike and I are going to be going to the Society of Illustrators that afternoon, so we can see the show there that we are missing out on, that gathering at the end of the month. So we want him to get out there sometime to see it, and that's the day we're going to be doing it. We're going to be going out there at I think we'll be getting to the Society around 4 p.m. So anybody that might want to join us and hang out, we'll have more information about that. But so we'll be doing a live show first at Anthony's place, and then doing that, and then regular show on the 1st of September. Then the following week on Wednesday, it'll be a 1,000 and under show, and that's because on the 9th, that is the beginning of another Heritage signature auction from the 9th through the 11th. And then 2 upcoming dates of note will be on September 13th and October 4th. Both Mondays will be the next amateur dueling dealer or the next pro-am type thing. So so we're going to be doing I want to get Jordan in on one of those shows, and to go against Mike, to do another $500 and under show. Let Mike have his shot with Jordan to do that. And then I do have someone else, another dealer who wants to be on the show, and we've selected Anthony to go against them. But I'm waiting for that dealer to confirm which of the 2 days they want. And then whichever one they want, then I'm going to see if Jordan is available to do it with Mike on that other Monday. So you see, we tried to book everything out all the way through October, just to kind of keep our focus, and to, just to stay sane, and then let everybody know more in advance what we were doing. So yes, Jordan, as soon as I hear from, I'll just tell you, it's Scott Eater. Scott Eater wanted to be on. He asked to be on really since we started the show, and we just haven't been able to work out a schedule with him. Summer was busy. He said either September, October. So I'm going to, I emailed him earlier today, gave him the 2 dates, said pick one, and I haven't heard back yet. But as soon as he chooses which one, Jordan, I will definitely let you know, and we will do we'll do your show against Mike. So I appreciate the fact that you want to do it. And Tim, can people attend the live one? I know Anthony. He's gonna have something set up, I'm sure. I mean, I'm more concerned about the whole, how are we going to film it? How are we going to redo the format of the video, since we're used to having 4 screens on there and everything. But I know we'll work through it. Maureen and my daughter will handle things from here in Ohio. But it'll be interesting, but it'll be fun at the same time. So let's see, what else is there? Oh, so since we're talking about the society, I thought this would be a good time to show the special video that was put together by Dan and Dino. So again, I watched it earlier. It's really great. I hope you don't mind. You can just kind of sit back and enjoy it, because it's a lot of fun. And if you haven't been to the show yet, this is just like being there. And Dino did. Well, I'm just going to play it, and I hope everyone enjoys it as much as I did.
This is Eric Fowler. He is the
collections manager.
The collections manager here at the Society of
fantastic.
Illustrators.
Eric, nice to meet you. Thanks for letting us come by today.
Sure.
Yeah,
really looks great. Can you tell us a few words about the exhibit and what you're putting together, and how folks can come by and see this?
Well, if you want to contact for any kind of a purchase, you can contact the Society directly. It's going to be, I believe, online. This is part of a newer tradition. We worked with the Mocha Group many years ago and have started to really build on our Silver Age and Golden Age comic book art. And the opportunity here is not just to view it, but to actually participate in maybe purchasing the work. And a percentage of that, of course, will go to us, hopefully, to help perpetuate our...
But it's pretty unique having a gallery of original art in New York, but also one that actually has prices to it. So you can actually buy any of the pieces that are displayed.
It's fairly unusual, but I think it's almost like a pop-up idea that's been extended. I think you have to be flexible this day and age. As a museum, we've been here since '39, and we've been in existence since 1901. And we've just learned that there's an awful lot of enthusiasm from the public as well as from major collectors to see comic art and to, perpetuate the interest in that, so it becomes like the way we push illustration. It's admired, it's encouraged, and it goes forward. It's become part of our heritage.
And this exhibit has a good selection of everything from vintage Marvel covers to DC illustrators, sci-fi, 50s Golden Age art.
Underground with Crum.
Yeah, Crum.
Crum actually visited us once. He was quite an interesting person. We had about 300 people in a bag that holds 100, and out the door, and he was very, very well received. And yeah, we encourage all aspects, underground, even I think the graphic novel tradition, of course, now has sort of become a sister to all this. But I mean, I grew up with comics.
A lot of us did.
I got a haircut. I had to look at the comic books. They hid the Playboys. We read the comics.
Right.
And so this stuff I can.
And the actual gallery is the Society of Illustrators. It's located at 128 East 63rd Street in Manhattan. Obviously, the New York City area collectors can come in. Do you have folks coming in who aren't necessarily familiar with comic art?
People sometimes just click on a website, see us mentioned as a museum, and they stop in. They could be traveling from abroad, We get school groups. I give tours. I give a tour of the entire 5-story townhouse and give a little background, a little boilerplate as to how we got started. I mean, we didn't even have a club for 38 years until one of our members walked by this building back in '39 and said, hey, it's a vacancy, let's check it out. And we had money put aside from one of our exhibitions and our shows that was purchased by the Schubert organization. We used to do plays and skits. One was called Artists and Models.
Oh, nice.
And when they bought the rights to that, we put that money aside and had the down payment for this building. We've been here since '39. Not
Fantastic.
me, but the society has.
And this exhibit is now open, and it continues to when, Eric?
Honestly, I'd have to check the board behind you, but I'm pretty sure it's through the summer. But
Okay.
if you need the details, everything's on our website.
I believe it runs right up through New York
New York
Comic
Comic-Con.
Con.
Yeah,
It's up till
that's-
October.
That's the idea, because we couldn't do our Mocha Fest this year.
Right.
And we're really much involved in that, so I think that's great timing.
I think so too.
Yeah, that's become
great.
a big deal.
Artists and Models, wasn't that the Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis
That's the
movie?
second or third iteration. The first one was kind of hokey, then they took it over and kind of turned it into the Lewis and Martin.
Yeah, it was
you
kind of
know.
hip for a while.
Of course, they were hip, you know.
Oh, great. Well, Eric, thanks for letting us in
Oh,
today. We're gonna let people have a sneak peek at what's on the walls, but looks like a great exhibit, and you know, I think it's already successful. But I think you're just going to draw a lot of folks in here to just admire some of this museum quality and very popular and coveted artist works here on the
And we
walls.
have
here.
works upstairs, so even when you're finished with this, you can go see James Montgomery Flagg's work on the 3rd floor. We have a bar and a lounge area, so there's a lot you can do here. So
Fantastic.
come
Well,
on
thank
down.
you very
Yeah,
much.
you're welcome.
Thank you for putting it together. You
Absolutely.
keep doing these comic art shows, we'll keep coming.
All right, it's
All
a
right.
deal.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you.
These are two of the marquee pieces in the gallery. Of course, Frazetta and Robert Crum. This one's amazing. This is a Frazetta painted piece. It's a published image, 1964. Again, a really great composition. Two monsters, a bear-like and a pterodactyl or something in the background, and the hero trying to fend off. Sharp colors, really nice contrast. You can see this being a museum piece just for the Frazetta legacy alone, but another just stunning piece. This one's Robert Crum. Probably not what you first think about when you think of Robert Crum art, but I think visually it does represent that whole era. This is 1966 a bit, or late 60s.
So
but-
pre-psychedelic.
That's
This-
right.
This is
And this is one
pre-psychedelic.
of those after a few beers, it kind of creates some new imagery, I guess. And again, the colors blend well. It presents a very strong image that is stunning to look at. And again, as a Crum painted example, I think quite rare.
Well, you know, I believe right about this time was when he started experimenting with acid with his wife. And this might have been the opening of his third eye as the great artist. So, yeah, this could be the very beginning of the underground legend.
Absolutely. Well, two power pack paintings just to start off the exhibit. And we'll take a walk around and maybe Dan and I will highlight a few pieces and give some comments. But again, an overall a great exhibit and two headline pieces to knock your socks off as you walk in the door.
Sounds good. Let's get started. And this is a fun one because it's John Byrne from his legendary run on the Fantastic Four. This was annual 19. Very unusual. This was a period when he had a few issues when he was working big. So this is like a 12 by 18 image area. Even though the paper isn't like old school Silver Age 2 up, the image area is, which really helps out with the detail. At the time, he was doing a lot of his own inking and working markers into it. So the extra size let him show off the details.
I love that face. Look at that. That's quite a shocking.
And it's a.
Is that a scroll? Do you think that's a scroll?
It is. You can tell by the chin that's a scroll. And the thing that's so unusual is this is inked by Sinnett, which is very, very rare. Byrne didn't have too many inkers, much less Joe Sinnett. It was here and there a piece or two. But
and what was this book again, Dan? What
this
was
is
book?
FF Annual 19, big art, John Byrne, and
it looks like
Joe Sinnett.
there are 3 pages. I'll just pan out, but there are 3 pages from that same issue.
There are. I
Very
focused on the one I like the most.
All right, good. Solid. So Werewolf 35, Werewolf by Night 35 cover by Jim Starlin and Bernie writes that, I mean, 2 great artists coming together to really present something that I think is quite stunning. You see the werewolf in really good form coming out and attacking. It looks like he's a very warlock kind of figure, but he's just a man. But you have that dramatic image over the ledge. But what's interesting here is Starlin creates that composition, but Wrightson's inks really make it stand out. The fur, the detail on the werewolf is outstanding, and the way, the perspective that Starlin's composition allows Wrightson to utilize those inkings, those shadings, to really make it a dramatic cover.
And what
Prime
really
70s.
brings the horror theme home is you don't know who he's dealing with because it's not a famous character, but when you read the blurb, you see it's his alter ego. So, this is a very Hulk dynamic where the man versus the monster. And hey, like you said, Starlin and Wrightson, how can you go wrong?
How can go wrong? Great piece.
Fan favorite that everyone's going to like to look at. It's a Spider-Man pinup by Mike Mignola. Everybody remembers him for his famous Hellboy. If I have to tell you about him, you're pretty new to comic art. But the stuff that he did early in the 90s, where he's really forming his style, but still working with major publishers, creates some striking imagery where you really see his style forming, that he would go and build Hellboy and this incredible brand. And this stuff is amazing, and I very much regret not picking something up. Because once upon a time, only the Hellboy stuff was worth money. It wasn't easy to find this stuff, but when you found it, you could afford it.
What's so cool about this is Mignola is known for his black and white, and the composition of negative and positive space in here is pretty extraordinary.
Oh,
so you
yeah.
have the black inks, deep black inks on the sides, really framing the heroes in the middle.
Oh, his sensibility towards carnage really comes through, but you also get to see him trying to work within the lines for Spider-Man, because Spider-Man was the Marvel character. He's trying to make his bosses happy, but you see the personal expression coming through in the more horror elements here, in the dark brooding character in the background. I think that's the looter.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, a very rare peek at the development of a great artist using a great character.
And he didn't draw Spider-Man much either.
Not
So this
much
is
at
pretty rare.
all. Very
piece.
rare.
Good
A
piece.
very, very interesting piece.
Great. So this is a Brave and the Bold '89 cover, Neil Adams and Gaspar Saladino with inks. What's interesting here is it's actually a really complex composition. First of all, great cover, late 60s, I think, but a really good image of Batman. What's really interesting about this is the way it was composed. It looks like there are some figures drawn on a board, and then there's a vellum sheet that goes on top of that with 2 of the main characters, Phantom Stranger and Batman, drawn on the vellum. and then there's a separate clear acetate with the stats. So you actually see a layered composition, but I think it actually helps the cover because it provides that depth that would make the background kind of fade away a little bit and makes more prominence for the two main heroes. And again, with the stats, it completes the look of the cover. But again, when you see a late 60s Neil Adams Brave and the Bold cover, always a great thing to see. And this is a pretty good example with two very hottish, good heroes.
Ghost Rider number 18. Not necessarily an issue I remember, but what a striking cover, you know. He was very much an anti-hero, but not so established in the Marvel Universe. Some great crossovers. Definitely one of the more notable covers that you'd see. And it's just beautiful. You know, this is eye candy, no two ways about it, with all of the dynamic images of
Definitely.
Spider-Man and Thing and Hercules. And
You're almost getting a Ghost Rider cover, a Spider-Man cover, and, you know, representatives from Fantastic Four and the Avengers. So, like
Yeah.
the champions, right?
yes, that's
Remember.
true. Hercules was probably on the Champions back then too.
Yeah. Who's the inker?
This is Giacoya.
Very cool.
Yeah, great
Cool.
stuff.
So Sean Gordon Murphy, again, I'm a big fan of his art. This is a nice Curse of the White Knight Joker page from 2018. Again, a tremendous image of the Joker right in the center. Very detailed Gotham. I really like the landscape here. It's not just a cursory panel. I mean, he went into extraordinary detail on the building and the lighting and just to present the setting of Gotham. And then the Joker image. I mean, come on. He's very well known for his detail, the artist, but what he did with Joker here, it's menacing, it's proud, he's very, you know, devious looking. Again, it presents really well. And then the signature composition of Sean Murphy is the kind of the title and his signature at the bottom with the outline on the page to kind of present the image for the viewer. So great piece of art here for those modern collectors.
I'm so happy to see that this thing made its way to the exhibit. I remember when this came up at auction and was very sad that I wasn't in a position to put in a bid. This is from the great Marie Severin, one of the unsung pioneers for women in comics. She spent so many years in EC and Marvel as a colorist, but she had a wonderful, cartoony, humorous style that really came through on the Not Brand X stuff. All of her satire pieces are just charming as all heck.
What are some of the characters you see right off the bat?
Well, you can see here's the original lineup of the X-Men, along with Namor, Electro, Magneto, Krang,
Is
I
that
believe.
Daredevil up there?
And there's Daredevil all wrapped up. It's all very silly, all delightful. Very little in the way of whiteout. She had a very steady line, very sure of what she did.
And it's twice up too. Wow, presents
Yeah,
really well.
yeah.
And of course, the crowd favorite. It's got a lot of good bricks. A lot of nice
It's
1960 bricks.
Very well rendered, man. I actually had this book as a kid. Not like it was a big book for me or anything like that, but there's a teeny bit of nostalgia too. This is definitely my favorite cover.
And one of the regrets that you missed at auction.
Well, let me say it like this. If I weren't ready to buy it at auction, I'm not ready to buy it at the gallery price. But Lord knows I can certainly appreciate it.
Good one.
For me.
So this one stands out to me. I mean, a nice Wallywood EC cover. You got the guillotine, so there's this added element of just kind of tabooness and extreme violence. I think you have the three main characters from the series, the Crypt Keeper, the Old Witch, and the Vault Keeper. I think having those on a cover is really strong, and those, of course, are hand-drawn. And then, you know, wood covers are known for kind of the detail, and here you can probably see 110, 120 people that he had to design and faces and all that in the crowd, which adds to, I think, the appeal of the cover. Again, these things don't grow on trees, and there's a few of them out there, and when they do change hands, they're very high in demand. And having a wood example, of course, is certainly a prize and treasure all in itself. But a nice cover that I remember when this came up for auction. I was very interested, but again, I missed out. But it's good to see it here as part of this exhibit.
Oh yeah, nothing like Woods inks. Nothing so crisp. This is a fun piece. It's by the great Robert Crum, which everybody loves and cherishes, gets a lot of respect these days, deservedly so. And this is written by Harvey P. Carr, which means this is from American, oh my God, I forgot, American Splendor. I remember, it's American Splendor. It was his own autobiographical series, one of the early independent publishing pieces, and he teamed up with a lot of alternative cartoonists and comic guys. Of course, Crum being the most famous and the most desirable, which puts this piece really on the top of American Splendor art. And the whole series is about a slice of life, of a life that isn't so glamorous and exciting, and Pete Carr's, Crum's style really matches it very well.
Good.
I like it. Hold on. Now I'm going.
So here's a little jewel. Frank Frazetta, Johnny Comet, Daly, just 3 strong panels, a double-sized panel at the end with the protagonist, Johnny Comet. But again, the details are fascinating. Frazetta obviously penciled and inked, so he was able to really establish how he wanted to do each characters, and each person's personality and their facial expressions really were extraordinary for this whole series. What I like about this is you just see the kind of development of this character and how he is actually in the background of Johnny, and then just some great images, great backgrounds. I mean, for a comic strip, you have so much more detail than you typically find in this era. And again, a good example, strong example with the main character in the double panel.
Now here's a beautiful Hawkman cover by Murphy Anderson. Anderson was one of the cleanest guys working in DC at the time. Very clean. That was their house style. But some artists were more dynamic than others, and Anderson definitely was great. These things very rarely showed up in the wild. It was known that Anderson kept a lot of his art. It's not quite as hard to find Hawkman examples as it used to be, but very rarely are you going to find one with such a large figure and such strong action. This is what I'm told is wall power, where you can just throw it up and it instantly draws the eye over. The conflict is very clear. The art is very crisp. It's just a wonderful example of Murphy Anderson's work.
And pretty early. This is Hawkman 8, so he appeared in 3 issues of Brave and the Bold, and then did his own. So this is among the top.
This had to be
early
early
dozen
60s.
issues. Yeah.
This had to be early 60s.
Fantastic.
Yeah, wonderful. A lot of these covers aren't known to exist, so the fact that a good one is here right in front of us,
we can come see it.
It's a big plus.
Good
it's
stuff.
a big plus.
Hey, so this one's a Faster and Larson, big painted piece. It displays pretty well. Faster and Larson, of course, did a number of I remember those X-Men plates in '82, where he did all the Wolverine, Danger Room, etc. He did a lot of book covers for Fireside, etc. But this one's a nice one. I think it's looks like 20 by 30. Captain America, Hulk, and Spider-Man, which really has a nice composition here. You could say there's some distinctiveness in terms of how he does his faces, but the presentation of the 3 images, 3 heroes kind of ready for battle, I think is pretty cool. And again, as a colored piece, it really stands out on the black and white walls and the gallery's other pieces. So a nice 80s, 1980 Hulk, Spider-Man, and Captain America by Steve Fassner and Rich Larson.
Thank you, Dino and Mr. Paddock. Fabulous video, and hopefully we'll be able to do more of those. I mean, I don't know if I can probably top that one. As everybody knows, Dino's has such amazing quality with everything he does, whether it's the slides and the spreadsheets that he's put together to this amazing video. So I thought this was a really good way for us to start off this kind of twist in the show, to kind of put something else out there, and Dino knocked it out of the park. I was going to give him some thoughts, and he had it done before I even had a chance to email him. So amazing video, and I hope we can do more of these. I've got a trip planned to there's a Ditko museum exhibition in Western PA that I'm going to be going to on Saturday. So I'm hoping to film a little bit there. And certainly if anybody has any of their own ideas or going to shows or exhibits, please let me know. If you want to shoot some video, take some stills, I would love to have you send them to me. We can set up a Google Drive where you can send the files to me, and we can put those out there as well, because that's what I want us to do more on this channel, is just share the events that are starting to happen again out there, and what a great first one that there is. And as we've mentioned before, they do have the meetup that is going to be next Saturday at the Society. And so if anybody can go there, you can contact Dan Poddick or Dino. They both would give you some more information about that. And sorry, I'm getting text here, but they can let you know more details about it. But it's definitely a very good show to go to. Even if you've seen it here, there's so much more to see when you go. And as I mentioned, I'm planning on being there later in August on a Saturday as well. So hopefully we can all, if anybody can make it out to that day too, we'll all hang out. But exactly, Dino has he could be on TV or radio. And yes, and again, Dino, thank you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this being the first one. This is the standard by which anything else I show will have to at least equal. So again, a great way to get us started. So it's a kind of a good way to segue into the popular artwork from last week too. So we can look at a little bit more artwork and then get on to some of the other things here. But there was I saw all the good conversations going on in there about would you sell your Amazing Fantasy 15 for art? And it's a toss up. I don't have one, so I don't have to. That's not a quandary for me, Ron. But I think you got good advice to probably get the money while you can and keep the older one. That's not a bad way to go. So let's move on over to the popular choices that I did from the week before. And let's see, it's kind of a bit of a mix up here. And I can say I'm working with my son on these. I'm trying to tell him how I want things done. He's not quite getting it right yet. So you'll see everything, the animations and things that we did are better. He hasn't quite got my fonts down the way I want them yet, but you'll see they're still great. The artwork's great, and I'm sure by the next one that we do next week, it will be even better as a presentation. So here are my top picks for last week. This is a Travis Terrest and Scott Williams Wildcats trade paperback #1 cover and a poster. This is in the collection, the marvelous collection of Bill J. Next up, this is another pickup by Dinesh. This is by Glenn Fabry. Vengeance of Bane #1 cover, the first appearance of Bane. And Dinesh continues his first appearance, Rampage, breaking CAF every time he does it. And next up is an Aaron Cooter piece. This is in the collection of Khalil. It's a Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality #1 variant cover. And this one is in the collection of Paul P. It is Carmen Infantino as the penciler, Bob Oxner as the inker, Supergirl Volume 2, #13, title page splash from 1983. Next up is a collector conversation veteran, Duke Fleed, artist Mike Allred, and this is Madman statue art. Absolutely beautiful piece, and I made it the cover image for the show today. Next up is this Stuart Immonen and Wade Von Grawbadger, all new Captain America #5 DPS. It's in the collection of Jason Husa. And next up is a piece in Jordan's collection, and this is by Ron Lim and Al Milgram. It's Infinity Crusade #4, title page. Fantastic piece. Next up, this is in Dino's collection. I had to show this one because it's got Dino pictured on it as well. It is so large, he had to hold it. It's 22 by 34. Ron Friends, Superman Reborn poster art from 1998. Next up is this Elektra Volume 2 DPS by Diodato. And again, it's in the collection of Paul P. But it's just a phenomenal battle page there. And next up, this is in the collection of Fish Benz. I don't believe I've featured anything by them before. This is John Romita Sr., and it's a Marvel Special Edition, probably a prelim, I believe, front and back pencils. And this is by Bilquist. And this is Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man 301 cover, collection, Ron Sonnenthal. I got a few more here. This is in the collection of Michael Lovitz, Fantastic Four #123. Great Galactus images there. It's John Buscema pencilers and Joe Sinnott inks. And this is by Matthew Allison. Love his work. Magnetor was the name, and it's in the collection of Tyler Turner. And this is in Marcus Wade's collection, another Bilquist piece, and this is Phoenix Resurrection #1 cover. Picked up at the SDFC 2021, he notes. Final two pieces are this one of Galactus, once again, collection of Tyler Turner, and the artist is Dylan Burnett. And finally, collection of Johnny McCloskey. This is Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man #4 cover by Andrew Robinson. And there you have it. Those are my top picks of of last week. And and I didn't see that while it came through, Ron, but thank you very much for that. Free advice. That's what I give as often as I can. And that would be a good time to mention. I know that some people have seen it. We now have this opportunity to be like a member on the channel too, if you want. It's completely optional. I don't have any true benefits for it yet. We are talking about doing some special members only art drop type things, and we haven't quite finalized those. But what is a member thing? You'll see at the bottom of when you're on YouTube, it says there's a link that says join, and there's just you join. It's a monthly fee. It's like $4.99 or $9.99, and you get avatars, your name in bold. You've seen some people like Jeff Wedding and Mikhail have their name is in bold and it's got like a Thor hammer by it. I've got to tweak the graphics a bit, everything. But at the end of the day, what that's going to be definitely used for are just some special events that I do just for people who are members, and it's a passive way to support the channel. I mean, I love the super chats; those are totally fun, and we get a lot of those. But those are like a set it, forget it. It's a monthly thing; it renews, and as long as you keep it active, I think they let you know when it's coming up, so you can just turn it off. But it's again just some other way to support what we're doing. And Tim Wenhold, I see that I think you're member number 7, Tim. So I do appreciate that very much. And again, as we kind of work our way through this, it's definitely going to help because getting my son involved on the team and kind of getting him up to speed. He's been doing some of the video editing for the memes that we've got going on Dueling Dealers. And when I start shooting more video, and hopefully we get more video from people who are attending different events around the country or around the world, that he'll be helping me put those together as well. So we're just I'm still trying to learn how to have an employee. I haven't had an employee for outside Marine, and I don't count her as an employee. I haven't had an employee for about 3 years. So it's trying to get back in the groove of all of that. And thank you, Ron, as well. Philip, if I could get a cap shield, an icon, I could probably work that out. I could probably, I haven't quite figured out all the way I want to do it, but there's the way they have it is like, you get 6 different icons based on how long you've been a member. So I've kind of got to figure all that out. I want to do something fun, but I needed to get something up there and running. So one thing at a time, but we'll get there. How do you become a member? When you're on YouTube, there is a join button. I believe it's like right underneath where the thumbs up and the thumbs down are. And I know it's on the main page. So it's out there. And Batman, yes, we need a little bit of everything. I promise you we will get it all worked out. But I had to get something out there to get it started. They gave us that access back when we hit 1,000 subscribers, but it just wasn't wasn't at the top of my list of what I wanted to focus on at that time. I was just still wanted to focus on content and everything. So, and Mr. Easy Go Lucky, thank you very much. And all right, so. Like I said, I've got this long list, and I shouldn't delay on too many of these things because I have another. What we have coming up show-wise is I did an interview with Scott Kress. I wanted to show you it's a 3-minute clip of my interview with him. It's going to drop tomorrow at 1 p.m. But so let me just show you that now. But there are a couple other things that I have coming up that I wasn't expecting. That on Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time, apparently Assad got through his issues of getting out of the country, and he is actually going to be joining Anthony. So he will be in New Jersey working on those commissions that he hasn't been delivering on. And it's unfortunate because Anthony was actually going to do a commission on Dueling Dealers and then have Assad do it live. And then when he wasn't able to leave the country, we pulled that piece out of the Dueling Dealers episode yesterday. So hopefully. So he'll still be doing other things, but it would have been neat to have somebody who won something on Dueling Dealers then get to see the artwork done in person during the show. So we'll get there. I mean, so I'll be there with Anthony, we're not selling anything. We'll probably just be BSing, looking at Assad paint, and probably talking about whatever new artwork Anthony's got in his warehouse. And if anybody, I think he might be trying to line up some people to stop by. So it'll be fun. And as long as nobody's wearing wigs or whatever, I think it'll be a good hour spent. And thank you, Tim. And thank you, Marcus. Wrong one there. And Nick. Sorry, I am clicking on all these. You guys are great. Thank you. So that's what I'm doing on Saturday. And as soon as that show's over, I got to jet over to Mike's because Mike is going over to the Ditko show with me. He had donated some pieces to that exhibit. And so he and I will be filming that. And then everybody should, if you're out in Hollywood, you should definitely be going to TorpedoCon this weekend. Starts tomorrow, goes through Sunday. I should probably share the screen, but I don't need to. But at the end of the day, if you've seen the list of art dealers, you've got Albert and Shara and Glenn. The Donnellys are going to be there. I mean, I'm sure I'm probably missing. I'm sure probably Saul's going to be there. So I'm quite positive it's going to be a great show. They've got Jim Lee and Frank Miller and Sienkiewicz is there too. I mean, I don't know. I should have the page up. I don't have it up, but a very good show. For whatever reason, I know that they were doing their they kind of switched the way they were doing their marketing. So they didn't send me one single announcement to promote anything about the show, which is why I'm not on top of it as well as I should have been. And I got to start thanking people here because Ruben, thank you, and Michael and Jerry and James, thank you everybody. No, it wasn't a membership drive this evening. I just wanted to make everybody aware of it. But thank you so much. I mean, if I was out there, I would definitely be going to that show. That would be a lot of fun. And John puts on a good show. Everybody's always gassed when he does those. I know that I've been asked to go a couple times, so maybe whenever they do the next one, I'll try to do it. But very envious of anybody who's on the West Coast and gets to go to that this weekend. And what was the other thing? Oh, and then just and my Tuesday Comic Art Live interview will be with Jason Wood. Jason is also going to do a interview with me on 11 o'clock comics podcast sometime in September. So that was kind of a quid pro quo thing here. He's I'm going to take care of him next Tuesday, and then September sometime I'll be on their podcast. And they have one of the most popular podcasts out there for comics. So once we're talking on Tuesday, I'll definitely share links to that if you've never heard of it or gotten around to checking it out. But very, very good. And Jason's in our chat a lot. And thank you, Tony. Thank you, Harry. Thank you. Thank you, Chuck. And thank you, Ted. Wow, there is a lot of greens out there tonight. The Hulk does rock. All right, so I got all those little announcements out of the way. So I'm glad about that. I did want to kind of there was something that came about when we were chatting last week. I believe, it was on Friday when it wasn't on Friday. It was on Sunday. That was from the Sunday chat when there was the questions about showing last updated times and that sort of thing. And I had mentioned that, there's a way where at some point, I either have to turn a gallery off because they haven't logged into it for a while, because that's confusing. You go to somebody's CAF and either they've passed away or there's, you know what I mean? There's people who have just leave the hobby sometimes, and they just don't come back and their CAF stays on. I have no mechanism to turn anything off. And earlier today, I was actually looking at a page that probably nobody knows about. And thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. Or Rick, I'm sorry. And it is, I can put this on the screen here. It's a CAF anniversary page, which it's kind of buried and hidden. You can only get to it if you go to the regular, in all member galleries. I can even show you if you go to all member galleries, because I don't even show it on the premium one. There's a link to go to premium there, but up here it's today's CAF anniversaries and welcome our new gallery owners. And I put those in there, and I should pay more attention to them. A welcome new gallery owners is people who have had a CAF gallery for that have created their account and has a gallery in the last 30 days. But the one that I just happened to go to today, I was like, I wonder who's had an anniversary today. And so I was scrolling through it. There are 37 members with active CAF galleries, right, that have anniversaries today. And as I was going through it, you look at the fifth one, back from 2003, comic artist Rich Buckler had a CAF gallery started then. And of course, Rich did pass just over 4 years ago. So I came to that, and and I checked, and he honestly didn't update his gallery after 2005. But it just illustrates the problem or the challenge with leaving, CAF galleries out there. I had gotten an email asking, saying, hey, if I were to pass, I'd want you to keep my gallery out there. And I get it, but maybe there's a way that we can at least say this gallery's inactive. Don't try sending, turn off the ability to email that person because, or, there's got to be a way around, a way to work with it so it's not confusing, because so often I do get emailed. Somebody will say, I'm emailing this person's CAF gallery. I'm never getting any replies. I'm trying to buy some art. What's up with this person? And, and sometimes you can tell it's somebody who's just ignoring them, but other times I'll go there and I'll be like, dang, that guy hasn't logged in since 2019. What do you do? It's a problem. And I probably I need something out there. Like, hey, if you haven't logged into your CAF in 3 years, I should be allowed to at least send you an email to say, if you don't reply or log into your CAF, I'll at least turn off the option to be able to contact you, because I think that it keeps the site cleaner, right? I mean, it's you're not confused about whether or not this person's, you can't email them, so there's nothing to get confused about. And maybe a set time after that, you just send out one last email that if you don't log in, I'm going to deactivate your CAF gallery. Again, 18 years on, early on, I didn't want to do that because I was like, I wanted to get to that magic million number mark, right? I mean, that was always my dream one day, of getting to 1 million pieces of art on CAF, and we're there now. We're over that, so I don't have that as a milestone anymore. But like I've told you before, Gene Colan's CAF gallery is still out there as well. So it's just something to think about. And whether it's a retirement feature, like these galleries are retired, if the estates or the people ever want to come back and claim them or whatnot, but at least kind of move them out of the overall ecosystem would be a good thing. And before I lose that, Alfredo, I wanted to thank you as well. Right, Tim. I wouldn't do that. I would not turn. That's why I feel like I need to have like a rule, and the rule would at least trigger an email to say, hey, we wanted to make sure you're still active. And it wouldn't be in a week or a month or 6 months, but I think certainly every 2 years, if you haven't logged in, it wouldn't be a terrible thing for me to shoot out a little reminder to see what happens. Because hey, if it bounces back as undeliverable, that tells me something too, right? Maybe I should turn the gallery off until it's resolved. So at any rate, so that page is out there, and you should check it every once in a while. I look at that, and you look at that. I mean, Mike Blanchard, Dave Morris, Brian Boggs, a premium member to this day since I started it, and he's been a member of the site since July. I'm sorry, I don't even know what date it is. July 22nd of 2003. Same thing with Colin. I mean, so from 2004, the Colorado kid from 2007. All these people who've supported the site for years and years and years. And yeah, I'm sure nobody knew this page existed because it's kind of buried. You can't get to it. I should link it off the premium page too, so we can get around. But I do periodically check this because I like to see it, and it's nice to see that the people that have been here for so long. And I actually check out the 30-day CAF gallery list a lot more frequently, just because I like to make sure that no fan artists are signing up, and that's an easy way for me to spot them. So I tend to go there a couple times a month and kind of weed those out. So Scott, thank you very much. Yes, I agree with you, James, about but I don't want to delete anything. That's the trick. I mean, it's a question of how to still make it all work and not delete, because I tend to not delete. And there's some people who I've some people who wanted to shut their CAF galleries down in the past, and I always do my best to just to ask people to deactivate their galleries and not delete them. Some people end up deleting them. I mean, it happens like every other month. I'll get an email from somebody who just wants to totally delete their CAF gallery. And if it's somebody who's been on for a while, I do my best to try to say, for whatever, if you're not leaving the hobby, but you just want to take a break from CAF, please just turn it off. Because I have the nuclear option, which literally deletes everything of a user. When it literally deletes every comment they've ever made from the site, all their email history, all their data, all of their images goes away. And it's something that you can't change. So I always try to work with people who are there, and a lot of people are just like, nope. A lot of times early on, or like 4 or 5 years ago, there was a big wave of people who left for 2DG because they were European collectors, felt that site was more accommodating to them, and so they just closed their CAF galleries because they didn't want to maintain 2 CAF galleries, and that was pretty understandable. But to this day, probably about once a month, I'm usually deleting at least one CAF gallery a month. At any rate, so there's that. I wanted everybody to see that. It's another interesting page of data out there, and thank you, Clinton, as well. So one tip, I did tell you guys I wanted to try to do one tip each of these shows, because there are lots of other things on CAF that most people don't know about. And we do talk about the forums, and it's come up quite often about why I have never really been a big proponent of them. But there are actually two things there's one thing that I think everybody should do, is if you go to the forums, and I bet you don't know where they are, they're underneath the resources and forums right there. Now for me, I've got this thing set to, there's a thing up here at the top, for me it says unsubscribe from the Daily Digest. Probably all of you, it says subscribe to the Daily Digest, because you're not subscribed. Now the thing is, there's a lot of different forums here, and not many of them are really active. The only two that are very active are the Comic Art Gallery announcements and the Art for Sale announcements. So those are the second and third ones in this list. And why are they active? It's because they're built directly into your art update section. I'm sure you've seen when you add a piece of art, if it's just into your CAF gallery, it actually says to you, would you like to make an announcement about your new artwork? And if you do, it actually goes in to the CAF gallery announcements section here. And similarly, if you're a premium member and you're posting art for sale into a for sale room, it says, do you want to promote the fact that you're posting art for sale? Well, right there is where those posts go. And so the thing is, you can subscribe right here, or if you went into an individual gallery, you can see I've actually just set everything for me to be subscribed. There'll be a subscribe to that. So you could just subscribe to those two separately if you wanted. And what happens is once every day at 6 p.m., I just send you an email with the last 24 hours of updates that happen. And so you'll see anybody who's trying to promote a sale that they've got going on, or any new artwork that they would like you to take a look at. They'll be in there, and you get emailed only one time a day at 6 p.m. Eastern of that list. And I check it every day. And because I'm subscribed to all, I'll actually see if somebody's talking in the market data forum or any of the other ones, which doesn't happen often, but every once in a while it does. Somebody will post a question, so it's real easy for me to go and find it. And I know that we had a thread going on in a private conversation over on Facebook recently about the forums and the usage and everything like that. And again, I bet you, I know I'm the only one here that's subscribed to it. So, but that's one way of seeing when a new member comes to the sites, they actually use the forums every once in a while and ask a question about a piece of art or about the hobby. And I'm the only one that notices it, because I'm probably the only one subscribed to it. So at any rate, I would encourage everybody to subscribe. It's a once a day email. You never know what you're going to find, and you might find something worthwhile from those daily emails. And thank you very much, Khalil, very, very much. I appreciate it. See, again, it's all these other little things that are out there about CAF, but I'll try to do one a week. One different thing that I have I'm pretty confident that you're not aware of. That see, I'm scratching that from my list now. So, but that one's a good one, I think, and it's easy. You see it pretty much in one load of your in an email. You can read through it. There's usually about a dozen art updates and between 2 and 7 for sale posts that are in there. And again, I did it because, as everybody knows, on the old Comic Art L, there used to be the art. Everybody loved to post an art day, right? And they did it over there. They almost never do it anymore there, because they do it on Facebook and everything else. So I just built that. Once the forum was built, I said, well, how can nobody was using it, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to at least find a way to utilize it a little bit in a unique way. And so that's how I tied it into your art updating in your gallery over to that. So utilize it. And maybe more people will utilize it. I don't care if they go to the forums, but it's another delivery mechanism for alerts that we have that you are in control of, not me. So keep that in mind. All right, so I'm getting through my list here. I'm not going to go through my premium renewals. I thought that's a little bit too lengthy every week, but anybody who's renewed this past week, I certainly appreciate it. There was quite a few, and I didn't do it last week at all and totally forgot about it. And just as we're talking, I did get an email from Tatiana that the next big Mike McCone art drop happens on Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, 99 more watercolor busts by Mike McCone. So it's going to be a busy art weekend, so I hope you keep an eye out for that. Those pieces by McCone tend to sell out pretty quickly. And there you go. Yes, yeah. Man, sorry, just reading through everything. All right, so only other things on the new features that I told you I wanted to go over. I did link in the CSV download to the gallery report page. So when you go in there, and let me just pull that up on here as well, just so you can see where it is. Gallery report is your second link, and right here is your click to download your CSV file. So it's pretty much a mirror of this other page where you can have it set to get everything, or you can just pick specific rooms or art types, and what you pick all or just only active. And then you'll get your link right here to download your CSV file, and you can import it. I've kind of put the instructions underneath here how to do it. It's very simple, works with Excel, works with the Open Office, which is what I have. I know it works on some of the Mac stuff. I know that Tim, I checked, and we do include the thumbnail image with the spreadsheet, with the CSV file, and now we include 128 characters in the description. So you ask and I will deliver. So those things are in there now. You can see it says downward artwork selection 1 through 252. I have 252 pieces of art in my CAF gallery. If you have over 2,000 pieces of art in your CAF gallery, and some people do, these will be broken up in 2,000 piece chunks. So you get 1 through 2,000 and then 2001 through whatever. So there would be a second CSV file that you would need to download. So so it's there, use it. It was something that Duke Fleet brought up as far, he kind of used that as, he didn't use this, but he was keeping his own spreadsheet of artwork that was his most popular in his collections. It was kind of like, his keepers, his ones he really liked, and the rest. And then he used that same methodology on setting up, how he would choose what artwork he'd want to buy in the future. But here is a way to get your CAF data and do what Duke did, and arrange it in your most popular. But once you get the data, you can do whatever you want with it. And it does include all of the personal information. So if you've been filling out purchase price and estimated value and all of those private fields, all of that data will carry over for you as well. So yeah, well, you'd be surprised. There are a few people with 2,000 artworks in their CAF that are not dealers, and I was surprised too. And again, 18 years of CAF, and there's some people with a lot of artwork that they've put up there. In a lot of cases, sometimes it's in inactive galleries too. A lot of people who sell their stuff, some people leave them in their CAF and they're not supposed to, but a lot of people actually make them inactive. So some people's CAF, you might see 500 or 600 pieces displayed in their gallery, but they might have another 1,000 pieces that are inactive in their CAF gallery because that was their record of it. And so, again, it's when we ran reports to see what we were up against to generate the CSV, that it was just a bit surprising to see how much artwork was actually inactive on CAF. So for the million plus that's available, there's actually around 150 to 200,000 inactive artworks that are on CAF. So yes, it does, Tim. Scanning artwork is a very laborious process. Tim, with I'm assuming by the renewals you mean on the for the membership here on YouTube, those should be automatic. From what I was told, they'll email you, or they'll let you know when it's going to renew, and if you do nothing, it just renews. So it's a set it and forget it sort of thing, and that's why I kind of liked it. I know everybody likes to kind of tip me during different shows and everything, and that's totally cool. I love it. It's fun, and we did a great job with Felix's charity doing that last week. But I just thought this would be an easier way, a more passive way. You just don't have to worry about it, because if you're not watching the show live, and so many people watch the show after the shows that we do after, I'm just amazed. We might have 400, 500 views on Dueling Dealers when the show is over, which are more like active, unique people coming in while the show is going on. Usually by the next day, there's around 1,100 people. So there's a lot of people that watch these shows afterwards that can't participate in the super chats and those sorts of things. And I think the join is a reasonable way for them to support what we're doing here without being there live. So, on the premium memberships do not renew automatically. I've always thought about that. PayPal has a built-in mechanism for subscriptions, even if it's an annual one. I've just decided I haven't done it yet, and I just because I always felt that one day I would move away from PayPal as my mechanism for collecting memberships. So what we do is, beginning 30 days before your expiration date, every Monday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern, we will send you a reminder email that your premium membership is about to expire. So you'll get at least 4 reminders before it expires, and a lot of people wait till literally the day it expires to do it, and it's tough. But just so you know, it's like if you renew 4 weeks out, you're from your expiration date, I'm just adding 12 months to the expiration date. So there's no need to wait till the last day, because then some people will forget and they'll do it 3 or 4 days later in a panic, wondering that if they lost all their premium settings, all their keywords and everything. And of course they don't. We just turn your access to them off, and as soon as you become premium again, everything's back in place. Your keyword settings, your want list emails come in timely and all that. So that's how we do it. But it's a 30-day window where we do the announcements, reminders to you. If you're a market data subscriber, unfortunately, I send you 2 emails too. So it's just kind of how it works. So, but there you go. When am I having the next Comic Art Live? Let me double check the calendar. Somebody did ask me about that, and I believe I can safely say that it is going to be the weekend of November 13th and 14th, because what Thanksgiving is on the 25th, I wanted to avoid the weekend before Thanksgiving, since that's a big travel weekend as well. And I think we did that last November. So 13th and 14th. And when I last checked conventionscene.com, where Colin is a writer there as well, and there was nothing on the 13th and 14th as far as brick and mortar shows. So it seems like the best choice for Comic Art Live. So that's what I'm going with. I'm saying November 13th and 14th is our weekend for the next Comic Art Live. So you're going to have to wait a little while to raise some money. But, it's something to look forward to. At least I have a date in mind. And I've already been talking with, there's, after the 3rd show, we've got a lot of different people who are interested in doing different stuff with the show. So I'm hoping that we have, I'm probably going to have to start working on that. I should probably start working on it now, but by mid-August, I'll be definitely in the planning stages so that we can make some announcements and things. There's a lot of people that want to do panels that haven't been interested in the past, and it's definitely going to be a bigger show. And as if the last show wasn't big enough. With 4,500 pieces of art to go through, it didn't give premium members too much of an opportunity in that 2-hour window to get a head start, right? But we'll work on it. So yeah, you got the fall Comic Art Live. Let's see, Saturday than during. I also sold way more on a random Saturday than during Comic Art Live. I also put up cheaper stuff instead of the highest end pieces I did through Cal. Well, that's good, Ron. The thing is, it doesn't matter. CAF is a convention every single day at the end of the day, right? It doesn't matter if we do it focused or we do it at any time, as premium members through the CAF system. So I don't know, Jordan, I will say this. I will definitely say this, because I'm already charging. You have to be a premium member to have a booth. But the last show I thought was a bit overwhelming. When I look at it, I think that the show we have to be able to get through the show in a day, right? You don't want to force off. With 4,500 artworks, it's going to take hours and hours to go through everything. And we don't send out a want list email against that. And I know I had a reason for that. I think we looked into it and we felt we couldn't do it properly. And now I can't even remember what the reason was for it. But so I can't even give you a leg up to get in there other than throwing you in and giving you your 2-hour early access. So, one of the thoughts that we did have was at some point, maybe we'll have to charge a small nominal exhibitor fee, because maybe it'll keep us at the 4,500 piece level, or maybe it'll drop us to the 3,500 piece level, because we jumped from 2,500 artworks in November 2020 to 4,500 artworks in May. So clearly it's caught on, and it did encourage a lot of premium memberships and everything. But at the same time, I'd hate to get to the point where we have 10,000 artworks. And again, it's just, I know it's a terrible problem to have, right? Well, it's just, I want it to be fun. I want everybody to be able to get through it, sell art, make some money, buy a lot of art. But at the bigger and bigger it grows, I think the more challenging it becomes for us as consumers to go through the show. And for me, I want to give premium members like that 2-hour window to be able to see most of the things before everyone else. And the bigger the show gets, the harder that becomes. And we had the bookmarking of exhibitors in advance. I don't know how much that was used, but yeah. First world problems, exactly, Matt. So I mean, it's growing pains. I'm working on it. There definitely won't be an exhibitor fee in November, and like I said, it would never be anything huge because you're already a premium member. Whatever it might. I personally, I think $25 would discourage 25% of the people there, and if that's what it took to to make. Obviously, that money would help the show because we work our tails off going into it and really only make money off the premium membership. So charging a nominal fee I don't think is ridiculous, but it's definitely not going to happen in November. I mean, I'm going to see how November goes, and then that will be my measuring point to figure out what I need to do when we hit our 5th show in May 2020. So, all right. Let's see. I know I can scratch all these things off. Maureen is almost done with a huge email update that we've been working on, and I was hoping to be able to show it to you this evening, and unfortunately, it's not quite ready. We're working on a little bit of the search, some search criteria to make it to insert into the CAF mail, and it's going to be really cool. I know everybody's going to love it, and I already love it. And one thought, because I wish I could have shown this to you. You know what? I'm going to show you my CAF. My CAF inbox. How's that? Because there's a point that there's something I want to do, because I've hated this about the CAF mailbox forever. So try not to read my email, but not that there's ever anything major in it. But I'm sure, as everyone here knows, if you get a email from someone, I'll just use this Mark Holland one. He actually sent me the first email here on the 19th. And then I replied to it. That's how I've got my little checkbox there. I know I replied to Mark's email, and then he replied back to me. Now, so I've got 2 emails from Mark with one reply by me in the middle. And yes, no, you're not misremembering, Nick. I'm trying to get to it. I want to save it for last. I'm almost there. This is an important question, though. I wanted to get a little bit of feedback because there's your email. All I wanted to say was, what we want to do with the email is make it more like your mail, your Outlook or your Mac mail client, where I'm hiding the first email. You don't need to see it anymore, right? Because you've already replied to it and they've already sent you a reply. So essentially, what I'd like to do is consolidate and condense this list such that it's hidden the earlier emails from somebody. Because if you have like a 6 or 8 email exchange with someone, all of their emails are going to show here. And I don't like that. I want them hidden, and you only should see the last one because, that's really where the conversation is at. So I'm assuming everybody would agree that, we should, not have this long mess of a email chain in here. And hey, if nobody replies, I'm just going to do it the way I want to do it because that's what I want. But there's no real benefit to showing all these long chains like that. And so the only problem we found was the programming, the way we wrote it, we actually are going to have to insert some special stuff into the database to make it so we can do that. CAF has email. See, Tim, all the features you're learning today. Yeah, I know you got to know there's okay. Yes, collapse the emails. Thank you, Mr. Easy Go Lucky. But how would you be able to read earlier emails? Well, Harry, there's another. Okay, I'm going to show it. I know what Mark emailed me about, and it's totally innocuous. So it's I can, but this thing is sucked because we built it ourselves and we didn't really know what we wanted out of it. If I were to go to the final reply from Mark, all I see is Mark's reply and my ability to reply back to him. I don't even show you the rest of the conversation. You actually have to click on view full conversation to see what the whole email was about. And I just think that's dumb. So my intention is on when you click to the email, the most recent email from a thread from somebody, it'll show their current response to you here. I'm going to keep this reply here, and then I'm going to show the rest of the thread of the conversation underneath it so that there isn't this view full conversation so you can actually understand what the heck you were emailing this person. I'm just going to put the full conversation underneath there and basically leave this formatting the way it is with the last email from them there and your reply box after it and the final and all the rest of the thread underneath it. I just think that will make for a more, it's at least trying to move it to a semi more modern look and feel, but it will help you clean things up. And because right now, I mean, if you ever wanted to delete Mark's emails, you notice you have to check it. If there's 8 in that thread, you have to check them all and delete it. Well, from that one screen, once we do that, it'll allow us you can delete the whole thread right from there. So again, it's, yeah. Thank you, Wes. It's right. It makes so much sense, right? But again, you build it, and then 10 years later, you just realize how rough it was. So we're going to do that, but there's a silly problem in our database of identifying technically what the last message was, and we have to work. Once it's going to be something where we actually have to retro set a bit across the 1 million+ emails that are saved in the system. So we can identify and set which is the last one in a chain, and then once I'm able to do that, we're gonna be able to compress your inbox into something much more manageable. And what the search function is going to be just amazing because you're able to search on if you were emailed from your a piece of artwork, you can pretty much just go in there and type in the name of that artwork, and you'll be able to see all the emails that have come in for that one artwork. If you're like, Bill emailed me last year, but I can't find his damn email and I don't want to keep searching through the paging. You just type in Bill Cox and bam, anything I've ever emailed you is right there. So yeah, long time coming. And I can guarantee you some of those features will be in there by next Monday at the latest, at least the search feature, because it's already too darn good. And all right, so I believe I've gotten through Yeah. Oh man, you guys are great. So, all right. So I guess we can jump on the topic. One other thing is when we had the conversation with Tommy, Sarah on Tuesday, it was about primarily he's an animation art collector, but the topic of conservation, preservation came up a lot because there's nuances to cells that are interesting and can damage the cells and make them fade and all these other kinds of things, and they basically give off gas because of the paint that's used for them. But it led into us talking about the preservation of art. And I was and I've always in the back of my mind I wanted to put together a series of, or at least a couple shows based on art conservation, the proper way to store your art. And as fate would have it, Jeff Wedding contacted me after the show and said, if you ever want to do something like that, let me know, because he and I don't know if I have his whole job description. He's an archaeologist for one thing, but on top of it, he manages a large manuscript and doc archive for the Nevada State Historic Preservation Office. So he's got a vast amount of experience with art preservation and document preservation, and treats his own art collection in that way. And so while I haven't replied to his last email, he shot me an idea for a series of shorter, like 20-30 minute pieces that we can put together that talk about art preservation and conservation and what his best methods are as he knows them today. And I think it will be a super asset to the hobby. It's something that we can link into CAF, and I've always wanted to do more of those sorts of things, because we get asked about that kind of stuff all the time, and it ties into how to frame and properly display your artworks. So there's a lot there, and so Jeff and I are going to talk a bit more about that. But I think that's going to be something that we at least try to tackle a couple of those episodes before the snowflies. So just think about that. And very gassy, Marcus. Very, but. Yes, no, I don't think Duke meant it straight up that it wasn't art. that's just you know, at any rate. But so look forward to that. That I was really happy when Jeff emailed, because I you know, I was thinking, who in the heck am I going to get to help me with this, because I'm no expert at all. And then Jeff's email just popped out of the blue. I mean, I love it when people volunteer, and I think this will be really great thing for us. So, and there's Jeff. Hey, thank you, Jeff. I am looking forward to it as well, outlining the 3 or 4 shows that we can do for that, and it's going to be great. All right, so the rant topic. I mean, we might as well do that now. So, and I didn't make any notes. I should probably have, but it's you know, I mean, obviously, you know, I went through a rough spat there, and with, you know, with just you know, the whole issue of with the Dueling Dealer show and what happened, you know, with Will and Glenn, and it was more just you know, just disappointment and about what happened, and it didn't. You know, it's really hard to describe, because if anybody has ever been an entrepreneur and put a lot of their mental you know, I don't know, power behind trying to create something that's fun and unique, you can't really experience what it's like when things get borrowed, and you know, and kind of like suggested that they're offhand, you know, they're not really important. Oh, you know, you know, it was presented as all claim sales are the same, right? And you know, and blah blah blah. And I was like, man, I that wasn't like it. I mean, I feel like we did something really unique. And but how that ties into everything was that, I mean, a lot of people felt the same way that I did, and it was one of the few times in my experience with the hobby where, I mean, I literally probably got 150 emails and texts and phone calls and personal messages through Facebook with people just, you know, sending me emails or, you know, talking about support, you know, their support for me, and you know, and whatever, and just overall disappointment that was felt by a lot of people, and I was like, you know, it made me feel good to know that people were supportive of that. But the one thing it kind of led to was, and again, so this isn't a rant about any of them about what happened, but it led me to this thing that I experience like once a month through CAF, and it's an email I get, and they almost always start the same way. All right, and as I always tell you, like the popular email, number 1 email is, how do you block people from emailing me? Well, around email number 3 or number 4. The email starts off just like this: Bill, I've got to tell you something, but you can't tell these people what I'm about to tell you, because I don't want them to know that I'm telling it to you. And I can almost tell you that by and large at that moment, I kind of stopped reading. But what it is, you know, it's we're such a small hobby that nobody wants to be the bad guy. Nobody ever wants to out somebody when they feel they've been wronged. You know, and some people do. I mean, there's some guys that don't mind slinging it all day long, and some of them are here. But the problem is that, you know, so there, you know, there's a select few that don't mind doing it, but by and large, everybody feels like they cannot talk about a bad experience. They can't talk about, you know, they can't say. And this isn't, and I'm not even focused. This isn't even about just, you know, an art dealer. You can say it's about sellers in general. I get people who sell art who start those emails off to me about collectors who stiffed them and walked away, and they still don't want the public to know that this happened, but they got to tell me, you know, as if I can do something about it, which of course I really can't. I can feel a little, I can get a little upset when it's a CAF member and they're doing it through CAF. But more often than not, you know, it's a dealer that's done something wrong, whatever it is, and usually it's not something terrible. But you know, anything that goes wrong in a deal hurts. Somebody backs out of a deal from both sides, right? When a collector backs out of a deal from another collector or from a dealer, you know, it rubs you the wrong way. But the problem is that because the hobby is so small, you almost can never say that you're unhappy, because you don't want to be blacklisted, and even if you do, you can never stay mad for too long, because at the end of the day, you know, you're still gonna, if that person's selling art, you're still gonna show up, and And yeah, no, I mean, there's right. Well, that's just it. There's closed groups. We can't talk publicly. You can talk amongst the small closed groups, but you just can't go out and complain publicly. And so how does that tie to my experience? Well, for my experience, it was, I whatever, I was as reserved as I could possibly be about it, and still inwardly as disappointed about it. But a lot of the people that I saw, that were very supportive of me and saying, oh, but that was a terrible thing that was done, and wow, that's whatever. And but those, I've only seen two of their shows, but those same people, I know there was a lot of mudslinging going on in that first one. I saw that, but then but you're still back there, and I could talk for hours about this, but you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you can never stay mad at the people who have the art, because if you're mad at them, you can't buy from them. So you got to, even if somebody does something wrong to you, you end up just having to let it go. And what I feel that sort of can lead to, and has led to, in my opinion, is that if we don't outwardly bitch sometimes, then it just reinforces bad behavior, right? If you don't go out and say things, and and you do a little slapping every now and again, it will just convince people that they can do things, not in the best way. And I'm not, and this is not me talking about the deal makers. This is just in general. It reinforces that sort of thing, because we can't talk about it, because we don't want to be that person that is publicly stating that. And I can tell you, in the emails that I get, I get once a month, I've stepped in a few times, because when it was a CAF person and I know them, I'm like, do you know this guy's telling me that because it happened during COVID. Remember how slow the mail was? I mean, I had somebody from Europe just complaining about a seller who sold something through their CAF. They're also a dealer. And, it was a month later and the artwork hadn't gotten there. And I saw it on that case, but I knew, it was like one of those hangups. Like the piece went from someplace in the South, that went to Chicago, and you couldn't track it after that. But we were all experiencing that last May and June. And so in that case, I did actually email the dealer. I'm like, you did mail this, right? This guy's like, he seems really mad about this transaction. At any rate, you know what I mean? I'll step in occasionally. But what do I usually tell people? I'm like, why don't you go to this Facebook group and complain about it? Another good place is go to the CGC boards. They love to complain over there about stuff like this. And the thing is that I can 100% guarantee that when they've taken the time to talk to me about it, but they will not ever go out and say those same things to the general public. They might do it in these closed forums. And I'm seeing, and I'm trying to read your comments while I'm talking, but you guys can read them as well as I'm, probably better than I can. But at the end of the day, that's all. I mean, and like I said, it's a problem that we can't fix, because it's just how it is. And it's not like, and by and large, when I get these emails and I read it and I know who it's all about, I'm like, well, listen, that guy doesn't usually do that. You're just experiencing this one bad moment in time. I don't know why. In that one case, it was because of COVID. Maybe they were on vacation and you missed the memo that they were not able to mail out their artwork for 2 weeks. The thing is, it's not a regular thing, but when things are bad, there should be a way to talk about them. But remember, I'm the one who didn't want a forum on CAF to do it either. So, I didn't want CAF to be about the negative side of things, but I wanted to bring it up because it was, those things kind of fell in line with my experience and watching it, where you can only stay mad at somebody for so long, because if they have stuff you want to buy, you're going to have to make good. You're going to have to be like, yeah, man, you're doing great. Even when internally you think, man, you robbed Bill, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't feel bad about that. It's just, that's the way it is in our hobby. And it's probably that way in most hobbies, right? I mean, it's not like a car dealership where if you get screwed when you bought your Honda over in Menor, Ohio, you're just going to go over to Medina, Ohio, to another dealership and pick one up because you're giving them the finger in Menor. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. We don't have choices to the breadth of that. So that's all. I mean, this wasn't meant to be anything negative towards those guys whatsoever. But it tied all those thoughts together, and it's something that I've never talked about, but and I kind of don't think about it. Like I said, I almost don't even read those emails anymore because I know there's nothing I can do about them. And, I skim them only to see if it's something directly related to me or directly related to CAF. And right, it was right. I mean, it is true too, Tim. Life is too short, right? You sometimes just have to let it go. And that's the way I felt about it too. But it's I thought I misread you, Christopher. I thought you said that, and it's inappropriate, but no. But that's all. I wanted to be able to at least talk about it because I do feel that while there are these private groups that I think it was Alfredo that mentioned it, that there's a lot of people who don't they're not in those circles, right? They don't have those private groups to vent with or to make to share the experience and see if it's something that other people have experienced. I mean, they don't have those opportunities. So there are collectors out there, and by and large, I mean, while I could tell you you'd be surprised at some of the people who've emailed me like that. I mean, people who have been collectors for years will email me with those kind of stories, but a lot of the times it's collectors I don't know. And I think it's those collectors that suffer the most because they don't have their circle of friends. They don't know about this. They don't know about the CGC forums or the Comic Art L Yahoo groups, and they're out there on their own, and they experience something that they want to. They don't know where to turn, and they turn to me. And why didn't I include more dealers in dueling dealers? I mean, I did answer that one before, Stanley, but I mean, when I started the show, and I don't mind saying this whatsoever. When I started the show, I felt that number one, I felt that if it became successful, there was a certain gentleman on that other show that I was going to ask to be a co-host because I didn't want to do it all the time. And we ended up, but the problem was that by episode, and why do you think, we've had Tatiana on. I've already said Scott Eater's going to be on. We've got Albert coming on. The whole goal was to have, the reason when Anthony wanted to have a show on Dueling Dealers, or he wanted to have a show with me, a claim sale show, since this time last year, I turned him down for months until I came up because I didn't want to work with one person. That would be, then every dealer would want me to do a claim sale with them, and I'd be busy multiple nights a week doing claim sales with one person at a time. That's a boring claim sale. That's a normal claim sale, contrary to some people's thoughts. But when I came up with Dueling Dealers, that was the fix. I can have two dealers on the show at one time, and once we figure out how the show works and a good format, I can bring in other dealers. Won't that be great? And that was explained to everyone behind the scenes, and because everybody knows how crappy those first several shows were, right? Anthony wanted to do auctions, and we tried everything possible, and I was giving them a lot of leeway on on how it was going to go until we figured things out. But what I took, the marching orders were, let me break everything with Mike and Anthony, and then let me bring other people in when I got it right. I don't need any more guinea pigs than I've already got, and these guys are it. And so by the time, as everybody knows, I mean, I had Dino and Jordan on, what was that, in late March. So it really took until about episode 9 or 10, and where I did that. But by episode 7 was when we introduced the recaps, and that's really when things finally were worked out. But the problem was, by episode 5, they couldn't, those guys didn't want to wait anymore. They wanted to do their own thing. And so that was why, so at that point I was like, well, you guys are doing your own thing. And so that's when then immediately after that, Dino and Jordan popped up as an option. But it was right after we figured out the show format. So that is why, that was the evolution of what happened there. And it was unfortunate. I mean, I honest to God, and I'll say, I wanted Will to be my co-host at different times. He's a very well-spoken guy. I like Will a lot. And, but in a weird way, it's like, how much fun I'm having with the show. I'm kind of glad in a way that I get to be the host all the time. But when I fashioned the whole concept in my head, that was what I wanted to do. But we never got to that point, unfortunately. But whatever. I mean, as was already said, life goes on, and that's just how it goes. So that's all. That was why. And we do want to have more dealers. But honestly, other than Albert and Tatiana and Scott Eater, I've not had one other dealer approach me to want to be on the show. You know, other dealers want to do their own things, right? I mean, I've gotten odd emails about that. I mean, so it wasn't just that episodic thing that kind of went on. I mean, there were other things too that I won't even get into, but that's all. But, again, it all just kind of just circles back to the idea that it's unfortunate that there are those things, but I guess it's good that there are groups of you out there where you can vent privately and and not have to, but again, I feel more for the people who I hear from that don't have that ability or that group to talk with, because they feel I'm the only one that they can talk to, or maybe I'm the only one that can help them resolve whatever their problem is. And or again, they just want to tell me something bad that's happened, and I don't even know what end, right? Because they're just telling me to, like I say, don't tell so and so this about that I said this, but this is what happened, and it's like I can't fix that. You know what I mean? But it's like, at any rate, that's all. I mean, because it happens a lot, and it's one of those, and I don't know. So there you go. I have Hulk smashed that thing out there, but it's Marcus, right. I mean, and I think this is one of them, but I think it's, again, and it's unfortunate because, if our hobby was like 4 or 5 times bigger, it would be less of a problem. I mean, heck, there probably would be more places to complain about stuff or vent when something goes wrong. But because we're still so, because we're so small that, it just makes it difficult. And we do have lots of new people that come in that don't have that circle of friends. I mean, when I was talking with Tommy Serra, he's like, I've really never gotten to talk with anybody at a show or anything before, because it's just where he's at and how many shows he's gone to. So it's like, if he ever had a problem, where does he turn? I mean, he doesn't have any place. I mean, so that's all. I just feel it's unfortunate, but true, that it exists as a problem. So yeah, Billigan got the monkey off his back. So yeah, so that's that. And oh my God, rock, paper, scissors will not be worked out because it has bugs in it. But you know what? I'll tell you what, Michael. We after the show, when I told them we are never doing that again, I came up with like the ultimate meme to go along with that total disaster last night. So it's going to take us a few weeks to film it, but yeah, look forward to a rock, paper, scissors meme set in the near future. So we're just gonna at any rate. Well, that's bootlegging. Well, that was the whole idea. And then I forgot what in the green room before the show, one of them, because I asked them, I'm like, who goes first? Who went first last week? And then they were like, we should flip. No, we should, we should do rock, paper, scissors. I think it was Mike that suggested it. No, it was Anthony. But then Anthony, we did it in the green room. It was perfect. They had it all timed down perfect. And then we go on the thing, and then Anthony puts that glove on, and he doesn't move his hand at all. And he literally, made a paper after Mike had a rock up on the screen. I mean, it was just a total mess. And he did it again. He did it 2 times. So I'm glad you thought it was entertaining, Alfred. You guys know when I'm up there, I want these things to be perfect, right? I want it to be sort of perfect. I want to feel like that I've got some small semblance of control with what's happening on screen. And I mean, you can see Sharon could see what was going on, but Anthony was just blind to what was happening. He just didn't see what he was doing wrong. I know we could I could have brought some 5-year-olds in here. Very good, Matt, and they could have shown them how to do it properly. Well, Mike was the one. He was doing it right. Nothing like a train wreck. Anyway, and it was. I know. At any rate, but these are the fun things. I can tell you there was something that Mike did during the show 3 episodes ago that Maureen came to me and she's like, do you remember when Mike did this one thing? She's like, that's got to be a meme. And I went back and found it. So that's the fun thing about the show. We screw up so bad so many times that they do lead to funny moments that we can reuse. And exactly, just like the Gong Show. We had talked about the Gong Show early on as like kind of a, something that we were kind of leaning on as far as the fun. And originally it was going to be a gong, just like the Gong Show, but I didn't like. I just thought it was too loud and didn't really, the boxing bell worked much better. All right, Nick, I know everybody gets a riot out of watching me get frustrated with one or both of them. I know. So oh gosh, you guys are great. But let's see. So I think I honestly I covered. I didn't think I was going to get through all. Wait, I didn't. You know what I didn't do? I didn't play that teaser with Scott Kress, and that I won't do it. Scott, you'll see the Scott Kress interview tomorrow at 1 p.m. when it goes live. It was just 30 minutes. He and I, if you haven't checked it out, I did relaunch CatskillComics.com, and it does have one issue. The HTTPS thing isn't quite worked out, and I think I'm going to have it worked out in the morning. So if you literally type CatskillComics.com, your browser's going to throw up that warning saying you don't want to go here because it's not secure. Just change the URL to an HTTP, and you'll be fine for tonight. Tomorrow it'll be fixed, but I redone his site, and he and I had been talking for a while because I knew Scott like when I first started collecting. He was at the Pittsburgh show I went to a lot, and so he was like an early person that I interacted with, and then he just kind of disappeared. I mean, as far as being out in front of people, and that was probably around 2008 or so. So I hadn't seen him in a long time, and we've conducted most of our meetings through this, actually through StreamYard, and just chatted there and worked through some of his site stuff, and that's kind of when I thought, I want to introduce hopefully to do like a weekly interview, short interview with an art dealer that I haven't spoken to ever or in a while, and so that's how we did that. So, or why I chose to do that, and why Scott was an easy one, because he was already in StreamYard with me. So that'll be live tomorrow. But it was fun talking with Scott. He's obviously, he's been an agent and helped sell artwork for Sinnott and Friends and Sound Buscema, Ramona Fraden. So he's had a pretty fun experience as an art rep for, I think he said it's 20 years this October. So he's been around a while, and yeah, thank you, Rich. Rick, I was really pleased with how it came out. I know it's similar to what we've been doing, but I put a little bit more thought into the mobile friendly stuff on it, and it works much better than I think anything that I had done previously. So it's good. So I was really happy with it. And Scott, he actually got sales right away. I still haven't synced his inventory up with CAF yet because of the HTTPS issue. If it's worked out tomorrow like it should be, I'm going to make another change at 10 a.m. It should be, and so it should be fixed by 10:30. If it is, then I'll sync up Scott's inventory with CAF so that that you'll get your want list keyword updates. His stuff will be coming into it. So, definitely poke around in the site, check it out, and pick up something if you see it. Order a commission from Ramona Fraden. She's awesome. And and I know that there's a few of his artists are starting on some new projects, so I think their commission lists are either on hold or slowing down a little bit. But at least reach out to Scott and let him know if you're interested in anything. So anyway, I got it. You guys are epic rap battle. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see Anthony in a rap battle. You guys are great. Dance off instead. Marcus, that might be the way we can resolve it, with Mike doing his truffle shuffle. and I don't know, Anthony will try to probably do his I don't even know what the hell he would try to do. Yeah, Sharon would probably lead the way and work him through something. Let's see. That's probably herpes still going strong. Yes. Man, you guys are way too funny. At any rate, I think that I have covered my entire list. I didn't think I was going to be able to get through it. So I think I'm going to call it a night. We did it. It's like 2 hours. I thought that this would be interesting. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I really mean what I say if you're going out to any unique event, even if it's comic art get together. I certainly hope that Dino and Dan send me some photos from the New York, the Society of Illustrators get together that is the Saturday after next. I'd like to show a few of those too because it's fun. I mean, to see us all get together in person again. So a fashion runway tool, Marcus. That is I'm writing that one down. I'll have to give a little credit to Marcus on that one, but I think we can work that into the show. No break dancing though. A fashion show with Mike and Anthony. I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna make that happen. That's going up on the list of memes that must be. So yeah, send me your favorite meme ideas, everybody. I'm happy to accommodate. But again, back to the series. If you guys are going out to shows, remember what I told you? We used to do con reports. It was funny that CAF was founded on con reports and galleries. But I'd love it, when we get back to shows, if people can do that. And I think it'd be fun to be able to just show some short video clips. I'm happy to edit them. You don't have to, if you can't do the Dino end-to-end video production that he can do, you can just send me the pieces. I'll be happy to put an intro and an outro and put it to music if need be. But I just think that the more of that stuff we can put out there, the more fun this show will be. And I do have another topic for next week too. It's not as provocative as that last one. You guys, yeah, I know. I told Anthony, he's always no more nipple pasties. I know that was a tough one. When Anthony sent me those memes, I did have a tough time keeping a straight face, and he did a whole set of boxing themed pieces, and he had a shirt on for half of them and off for the other half, and I definitely kept out. I spared you from several of the ones where his shirt was off. So there are certain things that I can't unsee, but I could not subject you to that same torment because that was bad. There was some really rough stuff in there. Well, we did, Marcus. We did do the outtake show. I mean, maybe some of Anthony's stuff will make it to the outtake show. There was one of them was just so damn funny where he had his one of his employees. I think I even said it at the thing during the show or after the show, where his employee said something like Anthony was the underdog against Jordan. And Anthony, he's like up there, he's like going like this, and then his guy gets to the point where he says, and in this corner, tonight's underdog, Anthony Snyder. And Anthony's like, I'm not the underdog. Cut. And oh man, you can tell he was ready to punch his employee. So there's lots of that kind of stuff in the material I get from Anthony. Marcus, no, that's never going to happen. Never going to happen. But oh man, don't forget to wear them. Yes, exactly. If I'm going to shows, that is very true. I'll tell you, I still, even when I go into the mini golf, sometimes I still wear it while I'm there, and whenever I go to the convenience store. I will say this, everybody. I was talking with Anthony, and because he hasn't finalized his New York Comic-Con plans yet. And my son is making a trip out to New York, I believe, on that weekend. And so I'm entertaining the idea of maybe going on Saturday to New York Comic-Con if I can work something out with Anthony and just hitching a ride with my son because he's already going out there for the weekend. So, but yeah, I would definitely be masked up if I go there. But it's something. I remember I told you I wasn't going to do any shows until 2022, but that one may in fact happen. So we'll see. I mean, make no promises yet, but definitely will be at the Society of Illustrators. And I don't have the date in front of me, but if I pull this thing up, I will be there on the 28th of August after we do that live Dueling Dealers episode from New Jersey. And I even put this slide together. See, I was trying to be newsy. See, there you go. A comic art happening with Assad and Anthony. Assad gets top billing on this one. Saturday at noon Eastern time. With me, we'll be all hanging out watching Assad paint and talking about I have no idea what. But you got that. And don't forget Tatiana's art drop Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern with the Mike McConer. So, all right, guys, I am going to call it an evening. 2 hours, and we've still got a lot of people watching the show. Aaron, that's I'm like looking, and I just noticed Aaron Gilbert right there, blown away by the Houston Con last week. What a blast! Very cool, very, very cool. Nice to have you in the chat this evening. So I will be on Saturday. Now I can tell you I don't think we're having a show on Sunday. I know that Scott is available. but I haven't heard from anybody else yet. So usually we need 4 collectors to do the collector conversation. I've only got 1 volunteer for this Sunday, so at the moment we're not on the schedule for a Sunday show. But if that changes, I will certainly let everybody know, and hopefully it does. And if it doesn't, then we'll just see what we have to do there to, it'll probably be a show the following week. So, but I'll keep you posted on that. And other than that, I want you guys to have a wonderful weekend. And I'll tell you, my Thursday email got stuck in MailChimp and did not go out. So it will go out tomorrow, regular time, right around 1 o'clock. So I apologize for that. And it didn't go out. I didn't notice it. And then I went back and checked it, and it was kind of in this, was still set in a development mode and didn't get properly set to the scheduled delivery. So you can look forward to seeing that tomorrow too. My usual wit and wisdom in my Thursday, now Friday email. So again, big mahalo to you as well, Jordan. And yep, time to go to bed. Thanks, guys, and enjoy your Friday off. Again, it's definitely going to be a Friday off at least until September, so I can have my Fridays off for a while. But we're going to roll with the punches, see where this thing goes. But again, thank you for putting up with me for a couple hours. I can expect another couple hours next Thursday as well. Thank you very much, and hopefully with another video. All right. Thanks again, guys.